Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza and today I'm a disco diva celebrating the 70s along with so many other YouTube creators. Now our friends Shannon at the Spoony Stitcher and Teresa at Critters Crochet, they are hosting this amazing event. So it's a celebration of the 1970s and I'm surrounded as much 70s as I can be. I'm actually wearing a dress from the 70s that belonged to my mum. Now, I'm really getting in the mood for this. I do have a disco ball across from where you're sitting and a light in the back that used to be a disco light. But for now, we are going to step back in time and pretend that we're there for just a short time. Now, this is actually a spin-off from the Disco Divas, which you all may remember from last year. But somehow the 1970s got missed and everybody was a flutter because let's face it, the 1970s were such an amazing time in our lives. For those of us that were around, I certainly have so many fond memories and I will share some of them with you. Now, I'm not the only one celebrating being a diva this week because this spans over about 7 weeks and we are in week 5. And this week, Sam at by Hook or by Needle and Tiffany at Crochet with Tiffany, they are also putting out videos today, the 4th of October. So please make sure you go and hang out with them as well. But not just them, in the description box, I'm going to have every single person that has joined in, that has a YouTube channel. I'll let you know who they are. But if you go across to Shannon's channel as well, she has a playlist and every single video will be in there. So imagine the amazing amount of fun times we can have just hanging out with everybody. Now, if you would like to send in via the community tab, if you want to post your makes, you can put it on Shannon's community tab and also Teresa's. It just has to be fiber art related. So crochet, knit, cross stitch, needle point, felting, anything that relates to the fiber arts. And the only criteria, I think, that at least 75% of your make has to be made out of fiber. Of course, you can include other materials in there as well. So it has been just so exciting watching everybody, relay their stories from the 70s, whether they were born in around the 70s or not. Now, I certainly was. I was born in 1965, so I actually had a really good time frame of my growing up years, will we call it that, my childhood years. So from the age of about 5 to 15, so I went from child to young teenager. And let me tell you, I have so many amazing memories. I actually have my scrapbook here and I'm going to share a couple of photos with you as well, just so you can see the fashion of the time, which was very, very important. And it does relate to what I have here to show you, because when I look at these items, I always think of the 70s, the colors, the feel. There's denim here, there's a bikini. So let's get on to that in just a moment. But my fondest memories of growing up in the 70s were the freedom and the trust. So basically, we were free as children to run around. Our parents didn't have the fears that they have today. The world was smaller, the population was smaller, and you could actually run around in your neighborhood with all the neighborhood kids, I remember. And then, there's all those memes, I think they're called, that go around that say, you had to be home when the street lights came on. That was actually a thing. And I remember that. We used to play in the park for hours and hours, spinning around and sliding down slippery dips and on the swings. And I just remember joy. And that was amazing. A different type of joy to that children have today. I don't think that even my children, who are now in their 30s and late 20s, have experienced the life that I had in the 70s. So for that, I'm so grateful. And then as I progressed from young child to teenager, it's very funny when you think back that there was only one house phone, one landline in every home, pretty much every home, and that we would all run to it. It was our only way of communicating. I remember there was a long extension cord, so when we wanted some privacy, we could, go up into our rooms. But when we became like high schoolers, I remember this vividly, my mother and my father would give us enough money to hop on the bus to go into the city to watch a movie, go to McDonald's, and then come back. And we actually had a curfew time, which revolved around whatever time the session of the movie finished, enough time to get on the bus and come home. There was a trust factor there, but there was also a consequence if you didn't do that. You just weren't allowed to go out for a little while until you understood that, you needed to listen to your parents. Whereas now, we track our children, we ring them all the time, we text them all the time, and it's almost like helicopter parenting. We're overlooking all the time, almost like micromanaging their childhoods and their teenage years. And I can understand why, because we're all most of us have been parents in the years where life has changed so much. So I really do miss the simplicity of growing up in the 70s, and that, like I said, has been one of the best memories of all while I've been, trying to think of how I'm going to represent the 70s today. Now, the other side was that, like I said, I went from infant school to primary school and then high school. What a transformation from a little baby, almost little girl, to a young teenager. Because women, we like when we're in our early teenage years, we start to feel like we're women, right? We're so far from it, but that's how we feel. So the transition was huge over that, the 70s. Now, we also went from black and white photos and TV to color. I know our children cannot fathom that. They don't understand that the world hasn't always been in color when we captured it. And we actually used to have to bring a photographer to the house. I still remember that. It was so special, and I'm sure it cost a lot of money for our parents to bring them. So I'm going to show you my 7th birthday. So this was 1972, and I remember that we shared half a house with another family, which ended up being, my parents ended up christening one of their children, and it was amazing. But I want to show you this for 2 reasons. First of all, it was 1972. I have beautiful memories of that time, and you can see some of the fashion. Now I'll show you my dad and I. This is so cool. Look at that. Can you see that, guys? Look at the fashion. You can't tell because it's black and white, but he had a paisley shirt on. Very, very cool. And then look at my mum's outfit and the hairdo. Even our clothes. Look at my dad. Oh, he was so, so cool. Now, that was 1972. But by the next few years, colour came in, which was awesome. And then we started to have our own cameras as well, which was very, very cool back then. Now, this is my 11th birthday, and ABBA was all the rage, guys, but I want you to focus on my denim jeans. There was so much embroidery on them. I absolutely love them. And look at us, we're all such dags. I love this. Look at that. Can you see my jeans? It's a little bit hard to see, but there was so much embroidery on there. And we had so much fun, all of the kids together. And you know what? I look at these photos often. This is my personal scrapbook, and I really do cherish every single memory. Now, the other thing that I'm going to show you, one last photo, and this was later in the 70s, so closer to the 80s, probably 78, 79. My mum always dressed us the same, but look at my mum. She's got her beautiful outfit on and her scarf around her neck and her handbag and her hair done. And my sister and I are dressed very, very similarly. Her hot pants were a rage back then, and look at the tops as well. Look at that. I hope that you guys can see the awesome photos and the awesome fashion, because fashion was a big thing. But another huge thing for us growing up in Sydney, Australia, was the beach culture. I remember every weekend in summer, my dad would pack us in the car. Mind you, back then I don't remember having seatbelts in the car, and yet we all survived, thankfully. So he would pack us in the car with an esky full of food for the barbecue that used to come out of the boot as well. We'd meet other families there, and we would spend the whole entire day at the beach. I think that was pretty much every Sunday for most of us growing up in the 70s, and that was amazing. Now, other times we'd go to the pool, of course. We'd hop on a bus and off we went to the pool, but the beach was actually the best. So that brings you to what I have to share with you. First of all, I have a bikini. Now, a crocheted bikini was very, very cool. And I remember, there's the one that I've actually crocheted. Let me show you the bottoms as well. Now, I remember having a bikini And I do remember that it used to get very heavy in the water, but nobody actually cared about that at all. I think that this turned out really, really nice. Now, there are many YouTube tutorials for you to make a bikini if you so wish to do so. I know that not many people do nowadays, but just having one just reminds me of those wonderful times. But my sister-in-law, let's call Steve's sister-in-law, she remembers crocheting her very own bikini because she's a little bit older than me, and she knew how to crochet at a young age, and she still talks about that bikini, which I love. Now, let's go back to the denim, the hot pants, and all the embroidery on there, which brings me to these little shorts here. If you had a pair of these, something like this, you were the queen of the beach, let me tell you. So this teamed up with this, and look at the colors, guys. So 70s, right? And of course, how could you go wrong if you had your own little bag to go with the day, right, guys? So if you had a crossbody bag like this one, and of course there's a granny square in there, but the flower, right? How 70s is that? And these colors, that was it. You were ready for a big day out at the beach. And in here were all your treasures. Sometimes you could even put shells in there, or you had a little lip gloss, and maybe if you're lucky, some change to go to the shops, the local shops, to buy an ice cream. So they're my memories of the 70s, and I feel so lucky that I have actually experienced them, and I'm so blessed that I have a few photos, because at my generation it wasn't very common that we had a household camera, as I touched on before. So to have, you know, a few photos to remember those times, you know, and look at them, you know, is just even a huge bonus. So I am very grateful to my parents because they did give me a beautiful childhood. They gave me great family values, I must say that, and that's what it was back then. You became a family with the whole community, the whole street. My parents came to Australia in a time like 10 years before, when they didn't come out here with families. So everybody in the street became your family. All your neighbours were family. We all trusted each other. If someone was going to work, then the other parent would walk the kids to school. And all of those things have stayed with me. And I think that that sense of community is what's missing today. And this is why I feel the 70s were an amazing decade. And of course, you know, with my little outfit here today, I would be ready for the disco, because that was another huge thing about the 70s, the music. And let's be real, they have stuck with us until today. So many soundtracks, you know, that we can sing to just from all of the 70s. So because I get very excited, I think that I will leave it at this. I think you get the feeling that I do, that how amazing the 70s were. And I just want to thank everyone that's, you know, contributed to this celebration of the 70s, because it's been so much fun seeing, as I said earlier, and hearing about people's experiences and what has stuck with them, and then others that weren't around in the 70s and have just, you know, are learning about it as well. So if you were as lucky as me and you experienced something amazing in the 70s, or just something as simple as I remember, community, freedom, trust, pop it down in the comments for me. So don't forget to go and watch all of our other friends as well. Shannon's playlist is really, really cool. Everybody's going to be in there. So you're going to have many, many hours of celebrating the 70s. So thank you for coming along with me. At this note, I'm going to say goodbye. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.